Welcome back to the Weekly News Roundup. This is the privacy, and we have some AI skipping security because that was just like WordPress was hacked. That's not news. That's like saying, what's more news? WordPress is hacked or Iraq was bombed? I don't know. This isn't news. All right. So we also have business, and we have a lot of SillyVille. SillyVille top loads this thing, so we'll kind of get there pretty quick. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive on into the news. First up, of course, we have an AirTag update because AirTag's stalking lawsuit alleges Apple's negligence in protecting victims. What these guys are saying is that a company has a responsibility to look if some service they're going to sell actually has a greater propensity to be used for fraudulent or inappropriate uses than for appropriate uses. And they're just coming out here saying, well, there's so many great applications. Like, think of this thing. It's this little tiny tag you attach to anything and you'll never lose your computer again. Yeah, you'll also never lose the girlfriend you're stalking again either. But that's another story for another day. Apple didn't seem to care. Of course, they said, we've done a lot of these different things. You can just go in. So I wanted to walk through this. Understand this. For ultimate privacy, like not ultimate, optimal privacy, the best privacy you can get if you happen to own a smartphone, you need to keep your Wi-Fi turned off unless you're explicitly using it. You need to keep Bluetooth turned off unless you're explicitly using it. You need to keep location services turned off unless you're explicitly using it. So here is how to make sure you're not being stalked by an AirTag. You have to go into your settings, privacy and security, and make sure location services is turned on. Why does my location services need to be turned on to tell if there's an AirTag near me? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense, but it sounds like a wonderful scheme to make sure everybody has location services turned on. Also under location services, system services, Find My Phone, significant location should also be turned on. Sounds secure. You should make sure you're not in airplane mode and make sure Bluetooth is enabled. And then open the Find My app on the Me tab and make sure tracking notifications are turned on. And if all of this is done, your phone will alert you if there's an AirTag found moving around you. So you have to make your phone an absolute, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to throw yourself intentionally into the dragnet of tech surveillance in order to identify if a bad guy is stalking you. That is a fundamental problem with this country. Now, of course, Google is rolling out some options, which is vaguely somewhere around settings, safety and emergency, and unknown tracker alerts, which, of course, is going to require Bluetooth is turned on, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So I'm waiting for the little devices that you can buy and just leave on that does nothing but scan for these stupid trackers nearby. It says, hey, there's a tracker near you. And then maybe you have a little setting. Oh, this is my tracker. Ignore this particular tracker. Great. That's what we all need. And then maybe we should issue a class action lawsuit against Apple and force them to give every human being on the planet one of those device trackers for free to make sure we are not being inappropriately stalked by the nonsense they happen to throw out into the world. Because these guys are like, oh, this is so awesome. We never thought about the end consequences. Never thought about it. It was Henry David Thoreau, I found out, writing an article last week that actually wrote the original quote, which is good because I used to quote this theologian, but he kind of turned into a bad guy at the end of his life. I don't like quoting from him, but it was from Thoreau, so I'm okay with quoting Thoreau, right? Our improved means gives us improved ends to reach our deteriorating ends. Okay? Improved technology gives us improved means to reaching our deteriorating ends. Henry David Thoreau. And so that's the problem, is they didn't think so much about these stalkers, these trackers, to think that the number one use case is jealous boyfriends buying these things. Come on, this is nonsense. But they're not to be undone because Track One is was this Singapore or was this... Singapore-based startup Track One. They launched an improved version of its location tracker for children and seniors. So this one is actually, I don't know if this one might actually be a little bit worse. So this is a device that lasts about a month on a single charge. It has GPS and mobile SIM and Wi-Fi. and it constantly broadcasts its location to a data server that the company owns. You have to buy the device, which is about $70, $80 is the new tracker. And then it also, of course, requires a subscription service from $295 monthly for a 2-year plan. Probably gets more expensive if you want to go month to month or less time than that. So, of course, you can get this little device, drop it in your child's backpack, and then every cyber criminal who happens to get in there, or any crazy pervert that happens to be working at their data center, can be able to stock all of these children all at once in some big database somewhere. What? This is nonsense. But of course, they're selling this. This is so amazing because you can put this tracker and then you can be alerted. Your husband can be alerted and your grandparents can be alerted to the location of your child by this simple phone app, which is probably developed by the lowest bidder in China or something. So, it has all sorts of weird stuff going on. So there you go. Track One, Singapore-based startup, wants to help you make sure your kids and elderly parents and pets are safe with the AI-powered location technology. What about this is AI? I think the only one from reading the articles, the only thing I got that was actually technically AI is there's a height estimator. So the AI component helps determine where the tracker is in a building somewhere. It can estimate or approximate the height of the tracker. That seems to be the only AI thing. Everything else is just good old-fashioned GPS tracker broadcasting the location through a mobile SIM card that feeds the big tech data server the perpetual location of the child. Sounds legit to me. No, thank you. I will not be getting this. So, of course, what was your thought? I think this picture is AI generated. What do you guys think? Now, I did count all the fingers. The kid does not appear to be Amish. So, there you have it. If you're unaware of that little sub-joke, Amish often have 6 fingers. A little bit of inbreeding in their populations. That's why you shouldn't marry your cousin. But, what is it with these companies and these stocking programs? Jeez. I certainly don't want, I think this is actually a little bit worse than the air tracker. I don't know. At least it doesn't last as long on a single charge. And thank you for all of your pop-ups here. 3 pop-ups. So the end of anonymity online in China. And as we were discussing this in the off-air program last night with the supporters, our first thought is there's online anonymity in China? This is news to us. I mean, that's news in and of itself. But apparently there were a few things you could do to get anonymous accounts in China, but they're pretty much cramping down on all of that. So the idea here is that if certain people have followings of certain sizes, they are required to put their full legal name. I think that's really what the difference is. So you could always have just a username, but the platform would know who you are. The government would know who you are, but everyone else doesn't necessarily know who you are. What this change in the law is that everyone knows who you are because every platform has to be broadcasting your actual name. And apparently this rolled out and people didn't realize it because all of a sudden several applications like Baidu, which is the Chinese version of TikTok, and a few other online services people were using were automatically all of a sudden broadcasting people's names and not the usernames they were using. Like, well, what's going on with this? The CCP just came down and basically said your CEO is going to be disappeared somewhere if you don't put the real names up there because these are influential accounts. And as I read through this, the only thing I kept thinking about is there is a certain political candidate who is on the right for the Republican primary that has basically said she wants to do this exact thing. No anonymity online, which is very hilarious because the person's name is not actually Nikki Haley. Okay, that is not actually her name. And she wants everybody to have their real name on every social media account. Talk about hypocrisy to the nth degree. But it's like, how much in bed with China is this individual? That's the first thing I thought of when I thought about this. Ugh. But that was fun. It's a fun article. But and what I see with this is really that first step. Okay, let's try it out in the communist China. And then I bet they're going to try and backport this to everybody else. So just be aware of that. Be aware of that. And on to our final article here. I really, really, really had to work hard to get the title here to not be something bannable. I wanted to do a title that's something like Google wants pictures of your kids, but I just thought that sounds way too bad. Not that this doesn't sound bad. So a Google contractor, so this is TELUS is the contractor. They were hired by Google to get imagery of kids. A lot of imagery of kids, specifically of minors. In fact, if your kid is not between, it's in here somewhere. If it's not between like 14 and 17, we don't want pictures of your kids. It's got to be between 14 and 17. We're going to pay you $50. Give us pictures of your kids. And they wanted like close-up shots of certain things. So what they wanted to do, this was their terms and conditions, by the way. So terms and conditions, our customer is Google. We're collecting data for Google, and they're collecting the information. They will collect the following information, which may be classified as personal data or similar terms in the country where you reside. So they want your name, email address, phone number, country or state of residence, the gender, as if we can possibly know, the day, month, and year of birth, eyelid shape, skin tone, video recording without voice, payment information, and device information. The kids have to be between ages of 13 and 17 years old. They will need 2 devices, one to film the video and the other in order to be on a call with the team member during the collection process. During the call, the child will also need to show a form of identification, such as a state ID card, passport, driver's license, if available. The description will adds tasks that will be completed in a participant's home or private premises and not in public. So they consent to the collection of the personal data. They consent to the biometric data, specifically facial geometry. They consent to the collection of biometric data. And I understand that the customer will collect the following biometric data for my submission, facial geometry. Google will retain the data for as long as needed to fulfill the purposes of the study, but no longer than 5 years from the date of collection or termination of the study. Yes, I consent to the collection of my sensitive personal data, skin tone, eyelid shape. I consent to the collection of the following sensitive data: skin tone, eyelid shape. Understand the customers collect the following sensitive personal data from my submission. It's the same thing again. And of course, we're going to pay you $50 for this. So TELUS writes, the idea is to capture a broad section of participants targeting various combinations of demographics with the goal of ensuring that our customer service and derived products are equally representative of a diverse set of end users. The description adds that the use case is to help improve the authentication methods, thus assuring more secure tools for the end user. So what's going on here? Well, in fact, let me just read from the Google spokesperson, because this is terrifying enough. I don't need to summarize it. This is terrifying. Think of the deeper implications of this. Google spokesman said in a statement, as part of our commitment to delivering age-appropriate experiences and to comply with laws and regulations around the world, we are exploring ways to help our users verify their age. Last year, TELUS helped us find volunteers for the project, exploring whether this could be done via selfies. From there, Google collected videos and images of faces, clearly explaining how the content would be used, and with all the research involving minors, required parental consent for participation under the age of 18. We put strict privacy protections in place, including limiting amount of time the data will be retained and providing all participants the option to delete their data at any time. So what they're doing is they're collecting all this data to produce a AI system that is capable of saying, oh, we think you might be underage, scan your face. And so now the person is to scan their face utilizing all these things, and then it will use this data to determine if they are under the basically COPA protected ages 13 to 17, or if they are an adult over the age. And so yikes. So, of course, TELUS did not respond for requests to comment. They were too busy cashing in on their tissue stock. I don't know. This is nuts. Well, if you want to help support the channel, we do use affiliates. Today we're highlighting DigitalOcean. You can host a whole lot of different cloud service technologies. We use this for Nextcloud, our Jitsi server, which is our private Jitsi server. I have several hosting clients, things like that, all over there on DigitalOcean. If you are in need of any form of cloud type service, you can go ahead and use tlm.li/DOH. That will get you $200 good in credit for 60 days. And once you are done with that 60 days, you spend $25 on retaining those services, and I'm going to get a $25 credit. That helps support the channel. So they don't actually pay me in cash, but hey, they pay me in the credits used to buy their services, which I spend actually, I think, $80 or so a month on DigitalOcean myself. So with that, guys, let's head on over to our AI news next. Just a couple of AI articles. First, we have ChatGPT gets its equivalent of the App Store. Great. Now we have ChatGPT app stores. Isn't that wonderful? So, of course, this is based on everyone had the ability to go in and create certain ChatGPTs based on different things they were doing. Well, now all of these models that they were doing are now available. So they're basically specialized ChatGPTs that are trained on specific data sets. So there's a ChatGPT for scientific articles. There's a ChatGPT for maybe passing video games, one for writing articles. There are things like this. And so in this, what's happening here is that the ChatGPT, you can now go in and you can pick up these extra add-ons. So if you're doing scholarly research articles, this one is already trained on more data sets than the generic ChatGPT is. So basically adds on certain brain modules into it, kind of like, was it Matrix, right? I think Matrix did this. Oh, we need to, here's the Kung Fu program, plug it right into the brain. Whoa, I know Kung Fu. Well, that's what you're doing with ChatGPT. You're just doing the whole, I know scientific articles. And so there's that. That's exciting. All right, so our next one. I think I'm missing an article here. Oh, well. Yeah, I am. Oh, well, we'll figure it out. So, this is deep. This is meta. So, not meta, but it's California. So California, of course, just passed a ruling requiring restaurants to have a $20 minimum wage for fast food restaurant workers. I think it was $20. And because of this, of course, we covered it in the news. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Pizza Hut laid off effectively all of its delivery drivers, outsourced that all to Uber Eats, I think. And basically meaning that the customer is now going to be paying a whole lot more to get a pizza delivered, because they said it's just cheaper for us to do that. We cannot afford to pay the delivery drivers $20. They are guys that are picking up a pizza and driving it. This is not high skilled labor that requires this kind of money. Well, McDonald's and Chipotle have basically said, yeah, we're just passing all this cost on to the consumer. So be prepared to go into McDonald's, and they're no longer going to have that price menu. They certainly don't have a dollar menu. They just give you a white piece of paper with like cheeseburger and hamburger and fries and McNuggets, and there's no prices. And you say, where's the prices? They're going to say, hey, have you ever been to a fancy restaurant? If you need to know what the prices are, you shouldn't be eating here. That's going to be McDonald's in California now, because they're going to pass it on. Well, Cali Express opened up. Cali Express is a joint venture with the creators of Flippy, which is the autonomous robot, and another AI that does menu ordering and things like this. And so what they have done is created effectively an entirely AI-driven autonomous robotic restaurant. Now, one or two staff there just to basically make things clean, make sure the machines are working, things like that. And so I did dig in deep to figure out what in the world was the AI component, and it doesn't make any sense, because the AI component of this is that you have to sign in with an account at their kiosk in order to order. And then the system, now that it knows who you are because you've signed in the account, it is going to suggest to you meals. Now, the reason this is nonsense is this restaurant sells hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, and soda in 20-ounce bottles. That's it. So I don't know what kind of AI, like, we suggest a cheeseburger based on the fact that you always seem to order a cheeseburger. Thank you, genius. I really needed that AI suggestion. Of course, now that there was that article that, the younger generations have restaurant anxiety. They can't go into a restaurant and order for themselves because it's like, and I don't know if there's too many things on the menu I can't choose, or there's a human. I'm not used to talking to the human. Let me text you my order. What's your number? I'm going to text you my order on Snapchat, So I don't know what it is here, but now you have this restaurant and they're saying that they can hire staff at higher than average wages, which probably means they're going to be hiring staff at $21 an hour instead of $20 an hour because, hey, that's slightly above average, right? I mean, 20 is going to be average because nobody's going to pay these guys more than $20 an hour to flip burgers at McDonald's. So that's going to be the average across the board. $21 is above average. Let's go with that. And minimal staff, almost nobody's here. And then you can go in and you can pick up your cheeseburger or whatever else. Now, the problem is this is their website, and their website is non-functional. So this one actually goes to a page with an actual link on it, which is odd. But this takes you to table agent. You're selecting your time and your zone and stuff like that. But if you go back down, everything else here, these are all just placeholders, but this is it. Hamburgers. Oh, I did forget they have a lettuce wrap too. I did forget that one. Here's your beverages. Here's your French fries, but none of these are active links. You go to the bottom. You can, of course, enter your email because, of course, they want to collect your email. Here's the press release about it. All of these links, they're all just placeholders. Nothing on this site works. Social media is. I don't know where it goes because these are all blocked on my network except Twitter. So nothing on the site works. But it's there. And I did forget to pull up. I had another article I was supposed to pull up. It got itself left out of my notes, apparently. That was the Yelp reviews because it was great because there were two of them that were clearly plants. And then the rest of them are like, yeah, this is ugh. So, but here we are. Our AI overlords are now here. They have arrived. So you can go into your restaurant and you can have your machines making your stuff. Now they do sell the Wygo burgers, which I was like, was this some crazy veggie type thing? No, apparently Wygo burgers are a super high-end meat, much more expensive, but they're selling these for the price of a standard non-Wygo burger. Of course, a bunch of nonsense like this, I would definitely surprised that it's not actually selling us, a veggie Whopper or something. But if you want to help support the channel, we do have a locals page. Have a look over at switchedtolinux.locals.com. Of course, we have our science fiction short stories over there. And our next one should come out Monday if I finish it in time. It's mostly done, but we have a little bit more to go on it. But you can join us over there for some fun discussions and stuff like that. So with that, let's have a look over at business news next. First up in business news, BMW just put AR in a car, and it finally makes perfect sense. Actually, I read this article. I'm thinking, no, it doesn't. First, you have to use these glasses. So you have to put on these AR glasses in order to have all these AR effects. And what does the thing do? Well, it overlays the road in front of you with a bunch of video game looking dots. I guess if you require that video game to navigate around somewhere in, I don't know, Borderlands or something, then it'll help you out. But if you are not retarded like the rest of us and you can actually drive a car without having digital arrows put on the road, what happens when the thing misses and you're like, it's like the old GPS and tries to drive you over a cliff. Of course, the one thing that it does, man, if there's a stop sign coming up, it puts an augmented reality stop sign in the way. Probably obstructing the real stop sign that's actually in the way. So, I don't know. Now, they didn't give us any real pictures of this. So we don't get a chance to actually see his view about what's going on. But apparently you put it on and there's dashes and lines and stuff like that wherever you look. And no matter which direction, it's giving you a warning. There's a car there. There's a person there. It's like, yeah, all things that work if you have functional eyeballs. So I don't know what in the world BMW is thinking other than, hey, this is a great new way to charge more crap for more crap and have more of this tech and all of these cameras and all this crap that I just don't want in vehicles. But there you have it. Augmented reality. If you want to drive on down the road with some really cool video game looking graphics and effects in front of your eyes, you can go ahead and do this. I wonder if they could do these for like, if you remember the Daybreakers movie, right? Where they had to drive entirely with cameras and things like that, because they were all vampires. And so all the cars were pitch black inside, so they didn't die from the sun, but then they could drive around with cameras. I wonder if they could just, do the same thing, put these augmented realities on, have blackout windows, and just drive with the augmented glasses. That'd be terrifying. No. Okay, never mind. I don't think I want this anymore. Although there was in State College, he's since passed away, but there was a guy that owned a famous ice cream store in State College. And he was this real short guy. He was like 95 or something. And he actually couldn't even see over his steering wheel. He drove this massive truck. He couldn't see over the steering wheel, but he had cameras retrofitted into there. And so he just sit around driving in there, driving by camera. A friend of mine got a ride from once. He's like, it's kind of terrifying. This short little guy that can't see over the steering wheel. We're just watching cameras to drive. Oh boy. What a world. And HP is back in the news. They are sued again for blocking third-party ink from printers, accused of being a monopoly, which they are. Of course, I advise people forever and eternity, do not buy anything from HP. Do not buy an HP computer. Do not buy an HP printer. I will not even buy a used HP in a store. Screw HP. I hope they go out of business. But this is what they've been doing is, of course, they started rolling these firmware updates out in late 2022, early 2023. That they pushed a firmware update over the air, of course, so it just automatically happened, and then all of a sudden everybody had their printer stop working because HP printer ink is infinitely more expensive than it should be, and they would just refuse to work without their ink. So some of the lawsuits have one of them, I think it was a California one, I think. They've actually lost multiple lawsuits in multiple countries over this. They've already had to pay millions of dollars. But remember, their CEO comes out and praised the idea for the transactional models. HP is proud of the strategy for locking its printer customers. Last month, HP CFO Marie Myers, must be a wife of Michael Myers or something. I don't know. The killer guy from Halloween, Can't imagine a human being having compassion, anyone else, but praised the company's movements from transactional models to forcing customers into continuous buys through offerings like Instant Ink. The problem with Instant Ink is if you sign up for it once, it pushes a firmware update onto your printer that even if you stop using the program, you can never use non-HP ink in your printer again. And some people had the firmware installed even without being on this. And so the problem is that they then subsequently completely jacked up the price of their printer ink. So not only did they break all of these printers that now had to only explicitly and exclusively use HP ink, but then they also jacked up the price of it. So here is actually a price comparisons looking at right before and right after these forced firmware updates. $17 to $19. Here's starting, which one's this one? Amazon's prices, $9.52 XL high yield black ink. Price hike in spring 2022 rather than late 2022. Another price hike in late 2023, but not in early. So this one did not match the exact timing, but it still went from 35 up to, is that like 35 up to 57? Here's Amazon reporting HP 910 black ink shows price hikes in fall of 2022 and 2023. So from just under 19 to just over 20. And then here is HP's 953 3-pack ink showing price hikes in summer 22 and late 2023, starting roughly around 50, ending 77. Yikes. And then here is the tricolor ink show price jumps in spring and late 2023, right in alignment with those push-outs, going from $20 ending in $33. So they had these massive price hikes right in at the same time they were pushing out the firmware for their nonsense. They're back in litigation. One of the suits said they're not going to issue customer payouts, which they should, but they're not going to, but they're seeking to cause a reversal of this and allowing all HP printers to always use non-HP ink if they want to. that's one of the things being asked for, but some people are seeking compensation. These guys are seeking compensation. I think it was a $5 million class action. Yeah. $5 million class action and trial by jury. Wouldn't it be so awesome if they go in for the trial by jury and the court runs out of HP ink and they have to run over and the HP ink costs so much, or there's no one at the store, so they get HP compatible ink. They bring it back and they can't print it. Wouldn't that be totally epic? Like literally the printer can't work and then they see this thing here because you bought the cheaper ink cartridges. It's like, yikes. That's kind of problematic. If you want to help support the channel and you need a website, you can use A2 Hosting, tlm.li/A2H. So you can get a hosting platform over here. They work really well. And you can get a hosting platform for all sorts of things, whether you want to host your own private email or if you want to just do a full business website, all sorts of various options. You can get, the more you buy up front, the cheaper your plans happen to get. And they have good customer service and good uptime on their servers. I really like A2 Hosting. With that, guys, let's have a look over at SillyVille. If I can find my SillyVille banner. There it is. Found my SillyVille banner. All right, guys, this just gets nuts. All right, SillyVille's gone crazy. SillyVille's gone crazy. All right, first, the SEC account. You might have heard that the SEC authorized Bitcoin. No, that was actually a hacker. So a hacker compromised their X account and tweeted that they've reached an agreement, and this actually caused major market spikes in it. So this was actually the tweet. Today, SEC grants approval for Bitcoin ETFs for listing on all registered national security exchanges. Approved Bitcoin will be subject to ongoing surveillance and compliance measures to ensure continued investor progression. Of course, this caused a massive upset in the pricing of Bitcoin. Went from 46.7 to 47.9 at the peak. That's a lot of impact. Now, the reason this is so amazing is that SEC has told Elon Musk, the owner of X, that he has to have board permission to post anything regarding to Tesla on Twitter to avoid manipulating the market. So their X account is hacked and manipulates the market. Oh, this is so meta. Or is this so X? Or is this so Musk? Or is this so 2024? Welcome to 2024. The whole world's blowing up, guys. It's going to be a great year. Isn't this totally awesome? So that was a breach. If you've heard about that, that is a breach. This is great. This is great. Quebec police do not want residents to post videos of people stealing packages because the Porch pirates might be innocent. Yeah. Yeah. You cannot post the images yourself. You have to remember, in Canada, we have a presumption of innocence. They urge police, the police urge the public not to post footage of thieves stealing packages from their houses because it can be a violation of their private life. So you steal something from me, my screen shows who you are, and you want me to not tell anyone about that? I'm going to invade their privacy.
Police are urging Quebecers to not post those clips online because they say there could be a case for defamation.
So I post a criminal's picture on the internet because he stole something from my porch, and you're opening them up to suing me? Welcome to Canada. If I lived there, I'd want to go through maids too. So, yeah, there you have it, guys. There you have it. So, might be, I don't know. Might be us, but the person who's had their package stolen, the one who gets trouble, yeah, not really. So, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Pixelate the person's face to protect their identity? Yeah. Well, if you're looking for a good, strong phone, you might consider an iPhone, because an iPhone was sucked out of that Alaska Airline Flight 1282 and fell 16,000 feet, landed on the side of the road, and was still displaying the boarding pass. So people knew it was from the flight. They pushed the button there, and all of a sudden it had the boarding pass and the luggage receipt. So, this happened. Of course, this all happened when a bolt wasn't attached right and flew off the thing. The door opened up and sucked a couple phones and a bunch of other stuff out of the aircraft. So, of course, my favorite thing happened down here at the bottom. It says, at the time of the iPhone's discovery, the search was still on for the missing door plug, but the plug has since been found. Compared to the apparent ease of discovering two small cell phones first, a Hacker News commentator quipped, Boeing needs the Find My Door application. Yep. But if you are looking for a good, strong smartphone, the iPhone does survive a 16,000 foot out of an airplane. Of course, the reason for this is being as light as it is, it's not going to reach a super high critical speed, and landing on something soft like grass. Yeah, it could take a pretty good height landing on grass like that. So, but you know. We have reached the world. The smart technology has gone too far. Now scientists are making smart mollusks. That's right. We are equipping clams with smart technology to measure the pollution in the waterways. I don't know what to think about this. So clams, of course, they'll open up or close up depending on water conditions, and they'll move, but they're mostly stationary. They just kind of hang out. They open up, they suck in some water, they close up. So now the scientists are taking smart devices and putting them on there. They're literally calling this Molluscan. It's a new startup. If you happen to control waterways and you're looking for a good way to measure the water quality, you can sign up for Molluscan. And they're going to come over and drop some smart clams in your waterways, and the smart clams will be there measuring your water conditions. We're in a weird world, guys. We're in a weird world. Here you go. Here's the on-site. Let me see if I can get these pictures here bigger. It's a little bigger. So on-site, here's the... oh, look at this. It's even running Linux. Sweet. Smart clams run Linux, baby. So here we are. We have our Linux Embark. So here's an Ethernet connection. Here's the mobile connection. And then it comes down. Bordeaux is their server. So this is where their main server's at. So the wireless chip and the Ethernet chip is going on up, transmitting data up to the server. And then in the client, they can see the various things. And of course, we have... Okay, I need to get these pictures bigger. I can't get these pictures bigger. Why can I not get these pictures bigger? Because we have clam emojis here. Okay. The app will give you a happy clam, a grumbly clam, or a mad clam, depending on the conditions of your water. That's right. Happy clam, water's good. Red, mad, bad clam, water bad. Water bad. Reminds me of that Full House episode where the kids dressed up as lobsters and went to pinch people at Fisherman's Wharf. Go figure. But there you have it, guys. If you control waterways, you can go ahead and contact Molluscan for some smart clams. I wonder if if the smart clams will have smart oysters. We'll have smart diamonds out of these things. I don't know. If you want to help support the channel, we do have a Subscribe Star page, subscribestar.com/switchedtolinux. If you'd like to jump on over there, help support the channel. Of course, we also have Patreon and we have locals as well. All those links are down in the description. With that, thank you for watching, and we will see you all next time. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.